if you're looking at buying an Airbnb in Canmore, at some point you hit a fork in the road. Do I buy a condo? Do I buy a townhome? Or maybe I stretch into a duplex, or maybe even I go huge and I try to find that big detached house. Now, on paper, they all work. But once you start actually operating them, they behave very differently. So let's walk through this the way I would walk a client through it. When we talk about consistency, and I mean year after year predictable performance, 2-bedroom condos are still the workhorse in this market. A 3-bedroom condo can be even that much better. But it really comes down to something simple: heads and beds. A 1-bedroom can work, but your guest pool is much smaller. It's typically couples, right? 1 or 2 people coming for a weekend. Once you move into the 2 and 3-bedroom units, you open the door to families, couples traveling together, small groups. Your occupancy broadens dramatically. And in Canmore, occupancy is everything. Zoning wise, whether it's a tourist or a visitor accommodation, from a revenue standpoint, doesn't make a difference. They operate very similarly. The real difference usually comes down to personal use, not the income potential. Where condos really shine, though, is predictability. You've got condo fees covering snow removal, exterior maintenance, often the utilities. You're not worrying about landscaping or roofing or surprise exterior costs. And if you choose your building carefully, especially something central with strong amenities, things like pools, hot tubs, gyms, sometimes even a front desk, that whole guest experience translates into more and more bookings. One thing I will say though, you got to be careful with on-site management companies inside some of these buildings. Some of them take 40 to 45% right off the top. That's a huge hit. Independent managers are often in that 20 to 25% range, and in my experience, offer a heck of a lot more service. So condos, particularly 2 and 3-bedroom units, tend to dominate for consistency and ease. Now, naturally, some buyers might say, okay, well, what about a house? Wouldn't that make way more money? It's bigger. Technically, it can, right? The challenge, though, in Canmore is that there are only a few detached homes that are actually zoned for short-term rental. And the primary area for this is up in Mount Tranquility in Silvertip. And these homes and these villas are generally anywhere between $3 to $12 million. Yes, they can generate serious revenue, potentially high 6 figures annually, but your cost of entry is enormous. Your finishes are high end, your wear and tear is real. And you're placing short-term guests into what is essentially a luxury custom home. It can absolutely work. I'd love to sell you a $12 million house, but it's not passive and it's not a small decision. There's also the lifestyle component. These are tourist zone neighborhoods. So if you're thinking about buying your forever mountain estate, just understand that long weekends may mean rental guests are next door. It's a very different dynamic. Townhomes and duplexes sit somewhere in the middle. Many of the townhomes that allow Airbnb are still condominiumized, so you have condo fees and boards involved. In most of the Airbnb-friendly areas, boards understand the benefit. They're also owners, so interference tends to be minimal. Townhomes give you more space, a garage, oftentimes incredible views. Some of the units on Bow Valley Trail are exceptional. They perform very well. The trade-off, though, usually is with the amenities. You don't always have the pool, the hot tub, the fitness center, or a front desk that larger condos might offer. Duplexes are typically more expensive, often in the $1.5 to $2 million range. They can generate strong revenue, sometimes well over $200,000 a year, depending on location. But again, we have to run the math relative to the purchase price. The bigger properties cater to larger groups, but the bulk of the Airbnb market, though, are families and couples coming for a weekend getaway. So sometimes the larger property isn't capturing a broader market, it's capturing a different one. If someone came to me with, say, 1.3 to 1.8 million and said, this is primarily an investment, I'll use it maybe a little bit, but I care more about my return. I'm likely steering them toward a unique 3-bedroom penthouse style condo in central Canmore. Why? Because uniqueness wins online. If a building has 100 units and only 3 of them are top floor, panoramic view, those book every time. They're turnkey, they're predictable, they're easier to manage, and they appeal to the widest guest base. That combination of broad demand and operational simplicity is hard to beat. The biggest mistake I see buyers make in this conversation is trying to perfectly blend their dream mountain property with an optimized investment. It can work, but you have to be honest about how often you'll use it and in what season you're going to use it and what you're going to expect to generate. The second mistake is overestimating revenue. People see the peak, summer nightly rates and they figure that's what it's going to make year round. Well, it isn't. And that's why I always bring in property management early. We look at real comparables, real occupancy data, real net numbers, because the structure you choose determines your guest type, your stress level, your maintenance profile, and ultimately your returns. So if you're evaluating property types in Canmore for Airbnb, here's the short version. Condos tend to win for consistency and ease. Townhomes and duplexes can be strong if the numbers justify the price. Detached homes are high entry, high reward, but they're not for everyone. And in the next video, we're going to take this one step further, and we're going to talk about the biggest Airbnb mistakes I see buyers make in Canmore. Things like overpaying based on projections, ignoring board politics, choosing the wrong building entirely, and underestimating management. Because once you choose the property type, the real decision making begins.